Live from the Motor City, all the way to the Volunteer State. It's time for the Reckless Speculation Podcast, where we recklessly speculate the latest news in the world of sports. From college football to NASCAR, we've got you covered. And don't forget to stick around for the world-famous Bet Your Nuts, where we will give you your best bets to make the most money. Now sit back, grab your favorite drink of choice, and join Robbie Davis, Raj Mehta, Brandon Chain, and Tom Sloan. It's showtime.
Welcome everyone to Reckless Speculation. It is March the 30th, 2023, and we have the majority of the tournament behind us. We've got the Final Four ahead of us, and then we also have the NBA playoffs. We have NFL news, free agent wise. So we have a lot to talk about today. Before we get started, we're going to introduce everyone. We have Tom Sloan from Detroit.
Good evening, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
It's a good night, that's for sure.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We have Brandon Chain from Nashville.
What's going on, boys?
Hey.
Feeling good.
We have our absentee member, always late. We never appreciate
into the green room yet.
But, we'll do that. So what we're going to talk about here is we're going to talk about the tournament recap. We're going to talk about the Final Four. We're talking about Lamar. We are going to talk about the Commanders and their asking price, and if they're gonna get it. And then we're going to finally talk about it's opening day after all, so we're going to touch on baseball, and then we're going to do baseball from here on out, it seems like. So stick with us. We appreciate your viewing us, so like, subscribe. And without further ado, Rich has always joined us. Hey, Rich, thanks for watching us. So, Tom, I'm going to go with you first. NCAA tournament. It's always crazy. It's always madness. That's the name doesn't get it by accident. What did you think of this? What does this tournament produce the best team?
I think based upon this year's results, probably not. For a fan like myself, I look at it as the parity is what's drawn me to this year's tournament. The fact that not a number one made it to the Elite Eight, that's incredible. And the highest seed remaining is UConn at a number 4. I think that just goes to show how the parity is. Like, there's really good talent around the country that aren't in these big Power 5 conferences. And it just to me, it makes the tournament more fun and exciting, and to see these teams that no one gives them a snowball's chance in hell to get far, that they make noise. So as far as the number one team or results in the best team, not this year. Previous years maybe, but this year has not been the case. That's for sure.
Well, before I move to Brandon, let me ask you this. Do you prefer, because like everyone says we want madness, we like the upsets, we like everything, but do you like this version of NCAA versus ones and twos in the Final Four?
I do, because the simple fact that, and I think we talked about it last week, unlike football, where it seems to be the same teams year in and year out, there's new teams. There's 4 completely new teams in the Final Four that weren't there last year. So looking at it that way, it makes it fresh, and seeing what it means to some of these smaller teams, smaller schools, especially Florida Atlantic, seeing their excitement and just them getting to where they're getting, it's exciting.
Why would you do that?
I'm sorry. My apologies.
You could have pulled any other team. Why got to pull Florida Atlantic?
Well, they are the 9 seed, so my apologies to Brandon. Was present when his team.
Okay, anyways, let's get Tom off the screen. Enough of him. Brandon, we're going to go to you. So questions to you. Does this tournament produce the best champion.
No, and definitely not this year. And typically, I mean, you'll get some of the best teams in the Final Four. Doesn't necessarily produce the best champion over the course of the season as the winner. But this year's been crazy, man. Like we talked about before, and it hasn't been buzzer beaters. It hasn't been anything, last second shots like that. It's been these, 15 seeds, 7 seeds just coming out of the woodwork and just dominating. And Florida Atlantic, they were a 9 seed, I think.
Why do you guys keep bringing them up?
I know, dude. To be honest, they were underseeded in my opinion. I mean, they won 30-something games.
Yeah.
So I feel like they should have been like a 6 seed personally, but I get they're mid-major and probably 9 might be as high as they can go. But no, it's crazy. But that I didn't watch a lot of basketball this year, but I did read a lot about it. There was not a dominant team this year, or a dominant couple teams this year, and that is a product of what we're seeing right now.
Well, and then follow up on that. So we have a Final Four with UConn's the only power team you could say is in there. What's your interest level on a scale of 1 to 10?
A 10 right now, for sure.
So you're watching Saturday.
Oh, I'm all in.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Tom, what about you? Tom, what about you? What's your interest level?
Oh yeah, I'm in 100%. Just because of the aforementioned name being in, the tournament that we won't go there again, Robbie. Just want to see how far they could go. So yeah, absolutely. Well, 10 out of 10.
Well, it was funny. So, as most of you guys know, I was in New York, the Sweet 16, and after we lost on Thursday, people are like, "Oh, surely you're going for Florida Atlantic, right?" And I'm like, "No." I was like, "I'm a bitter bastard." I was like, "I still hate Sister Jean from back in 2016. Like, no, I hate her.
Leave Sister Jean alone.
I hate her, and I hate Florida Atlantic. No, I hope they lose every single game. Yeah, no. There is no. I hope you win because you beat us. No, I hate them. I never even knew Florida Atlantic had a basketball team. I hate them. I hate Loyola Chicago. Hate Michigan. I hate all these people. Anyone's ever beat us in the tournament, I hate them.
I also hate Michigan, so we got that going for us.
That's a given. You did say Michigan, so
yeah. We were gonna ask Raj about what he thought about USC on the tournament, but we'll skip that. I'll give just a for people that are wondering about my view on Tennessee. I thought we got past the first weekend, which I did not think we could do without a point guard. So this was about the right spot, the right ending, I think, for this Tennessee team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure they overachieved or underachieved. That's just kind of what I thought they were going to be. It was unfortunate we lost to Florida Atlantic, which is a team we should have beat. But look, they had better guards, and that's what happens in March. And, regroup, reload, and see what happens next year. I don't know if y'all got – what are your all thoughts on the Vols while we have you here?
Yeah, I did not think they'd make it past the second game.
Yeah.
You guys just beat the crap out of Duke, just physically beat the crap out of them. And, you got to hang your head on that for sure. No guard play whatsoever coming out of Tennessee. Like I said, Florida Atlantic is underrated. They're underseeded in this tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, coming out of a mid-major, being a 9 seed, they could easily be like I said, a 7 or a 6 seed easily. But those dudes come to play, and they're physical too, and they have great guard play. So that's ultimately what took Tennessee out. But
Yeah. Tom, what do you think?
I think they were almost too physical, and it kind of bit them in the end. Which, for me, that team signifies my love for the NBA back then. And Tennessee played a style of basketball just like that team did. So I can appreciate it. But I think they were a little bit too physical, and it got the best of them. And the fact that they were missing Ziegler. And in the tournament, you need guard play to be successful, and they could only go so far. And it kind of caught up to them. And maybe they overachieved, maybe they didn't. But, it was a nice little run for them. And I have to introduce Mr. Raj Mehta.
I thought I was an hour early, dude. Wait, are you guys going on Central Time again, or what's going on here?
Nope. Same time every week.
We're on Indian time.
IST is 90 minutes after start time, bro. I've told you that. I'm early.
All right. So Final Four. So we got the Final Four is decided. Tom, we will start with you. Okay. We have the Final Four selections. Who are your picks? Just the Final Four. We'll go to champion next week.
Okay.
Actually, no. It's all Do all three.
This week. Yeah.
Do all three.
I like San Diego State to end Florida Atlantic's run. They've got a little bit more defense. I think that's going to be a really close game. What is it? The Aztecs are favored by 3. It's about right. So give me San Diego State in the first game. I like UConn. I think they're the hottest team by far in this tournament remaining. So give me them. I think it's 5.5. They're a 5.5 point favorite. Miami's a good story. Larinaga is a hell of a coach, but I just think UConn's got too much going in. And then give me UConn to win it all. I know it's probably going to be a consistent choice in this group, but they're playing the best going into the best time. And I think for that, they're going to cut down the nets, the UConn Huskies.
All right, Raj, welcome to the program. We're talking, it's our weekly talk show. We do this every week, same time, same place.
For 3 years. Hey, could you just give me a quick recap of what I missed? Because I am sorry. There are no excuses ever. Life. But I was all ready to go full deep in basketball. So I'm very sorry.
Yeah. So you missed the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
This is like a Back to the Future.
The Vols didn't make the Final Four. And then, we're talking about the Final Four now.
So I haven't missed anything. Then is what you're telling me.
So who are your picks for the Final Four? We got San Diego State versus stupid Florida Atlantic, and then we have Miami versus UConn.
Okay, first legit question. Tell me how much time do I have? Because that determines how in depth I'm gonna go.
You have about a minute and a half.
Damn. Okay, that's fair. So let's go with Florida Atlantic or San Diego State first. The interesting thing about this game is you've got two extremely similar teams. Both of them have, I believe, actually I wrote it down, 9 guys that play pretty much every game. All of those guys range from about 13 points to about 5 points per game, roughly. And that's 9 different dudes.
Well,
one difference is that.
Hold on. Can we just stop here and say there's unanimous we hate FAU here? So
no, man, I'm all about them right now, and I get it.
All right, cut his mic.
Hey, dude, I get it, but I'll tell you this: the first half, Tennessee against FAU was the only time FAU looked outmatched.
Yeah,
it's Tennessee's fault, much like San Diego State, that they don't have a guy that can create plays, and they don't have a guy that can just hit the big shot, meaning, a streak stopper, because after you lost Ziegler, everyone keyed on Vescovi. But the first half of that game, it looked like Tennessee was going to win by 30. And that's the only time all year that FAU has looked like that. These two teams mirror each other in many ways. Again, in personnel, about the same number of dudes have rebounds between 3 and 6. State is more of a traditional lineup in that they have sort of more of a 4, kind of a clear 5 in Mensa, although he's a slim dude that can 6'10", pick up all kinds of guys all over the court. Bradley, Lamont, Butler are both, they're not combo. They're combo 2s and 3s. Butler is probably a top 3 defender in the country, man, by the way. With FAU, you've got a similar situation with 4 guys that are kind of interchangeable, and Vlad Golden, the Texas Tech transfer, who, I don't know if you saw what we posted about. All right, I'll speed it up. It's going to be a very similar game. With FAU, they're going to want to drop in coverage. They're going to want to blow up screens, especially against a team that can't shoot. They're very physical. They're older and experienced. Their 6th man is their oldest guy on the team. He was a first-team All-Conference USA last year. He's a 6th man this year. I'm going with them in the hot hand over an extremely physical, tough, amazingly defensive, versatile team with elite 3-point defense, with crazy switchability, offensive rebounding. I just think second half John L. Davis and second half FAU and the mojo they've got, and Dusty May, who's just a great mellow kickback coach. Actually, he should be from San Diego. I think they cover, and I think they win.
All right, quickly, next game. UConn and Miami.
Quickly, shit. Love Miami. They've made me a lot of money since I watched them beat USC 69-66, I think. First round last year in Greenville, South Carolina. Positionless basketball at its finest. They have redefined basketball in many ways. That being said, although I'll take them over most teams with the traditional 1 through 5, if you will, Connecticut is not that team. They go 1 through 9 deep with specialists, with Joey California Calcaterra, who's a 3-point assassin, Hassan Diarra, pick up full court, full 90 feet, one of the best man defenders in the country. Sonogo, you can't cover. Hawkins is a guy who probably has the quickest release in the country and is very skilled. He doesn't shoot like Klay Thompson does, but he reminds me of him. In the end, although I really want to take Miami, and I think they'll cover, UConn is easily the most balanced team. And there are, 3, 4, 5, 6 pros on that team. If those guys get the right exposure, they are just all the cogs fit.
Good deal. So you got FAU and UConn. Brandon, what do you got?
Does anybody know what teams Raj picked right there? Like, that was insane amount of detail. Like
a lot of words signifying nothing.
It was so in depth. Like, I can't.
He picked FAU.
I can't remember which team he was talking about versus which he wasn't. I'm going to keep it sweet and simple here. I like San Diego State. I think I agree with Tom on this. I think Florida Atlantic's run is done. And I'm going to go against the grain. UConn is by far the best team left in the group. And for that reason, I'm picking Miami. They have been on a run. Just the sure will, the last game, being down 14 and coming back and making it. I like Miami. They're a big transfer portal team, but these guys have gotten some consistency and some gel together. So I like Miami.
Yeah, I'll be short and sweet also. I hate FAU. They're my most hated team currently in the country. So I'm going SDSU, even though I don't want my friends in San Diego to have happiness either. So I'm in this kind of weird situation. I don't want people to be happy. If I'm not happy,
Misery loves company.
Yeah, so don't like that. But I'm going to SDSU. I don't know.
Just say it. You know you want to.
No, I don't really like. No, I don't want Miami to win. I don't want UConn to win. UConn's won though. So like I've dealt with them before, so I'm going UConn. And then I definitely don't want San Diego State to win the championship, so I'm going UConn, just because I don't want to deal with anyone that I know. So that's the way I pick brackets. So now that we've got the champions pick, now we are into something that is interesting and definitely a first of its time, which is Lamar Jackson dealing with a contract dispute on his own. And I don't know if I have the stat handy necessarily, if we can put it on the screen or not, but he and Josh Allen came to the league at the same time. They had the same second. So the way the contracts work out, there's a rookie contract and there's a second tier contract. They had the same time frame to sign it. Josh Allen has made approximately $50 million more than Lamar Jackson has. And Lamar does not have an agent. And he is now trapped in no man's land, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I just feel bad for him because he deserves all the money he can get. These billionaires should pay these millionaires their due share. But Lamar Jackson seems trapped at this moment. Where things stand now is Lamar is free to negotiate, but the NFLPA and the NFL owners have negotiated where only a licensed agent can negotiate. So Lamar has a family member as his agent, quote unquote, but he or she can't negotiate. So Lamar is in no man's land. So Raj, you're an attorney. I want to bring you in to get your thoughts on this as far as the mechanics, the smartness, the dumbness. I'll just let you take it from here.
Well, it's my own fault I was late, and sorry for trying to jam in. Basketball, by the way, is my golf, and your racing? I don't know. DUI representation? I don't know. So Baltimore basically said recently at the NFL meetings that they will match any offer. So where does that put Lamar, right? Like, so multiple teams have essentially said that, like, why are we going to bother? Why are we going to deal with this? Why are we going to restructure? Why are we going to deal with the PR? Like, essentially, it's complete and total BS, like, from Lamar's perspective. And what are they saying to him? Like, bro, thanks. You mean a lot to us. You're an icon in the city, you know, not quite Cal or Brooks Robinson or Michael Phelps, Ray Lewis, or Johnny Unitas, but we really like you. But hey, maybe if you were Josh Allen, oh, never mind. I'm not going to say that. But they're just totally lowballing him and leveraging everything they can against him. Now, I understand this is business, but, you know, fans and cities, they don't forget. And when you treat the court of public opinion is very powerful in sport, and it will be in this situation. At this point, Baltimore has really the only way out, in my opinion, is a sign and trade. That's really the only way I see this thing coming out in a positive way. But again, the Ravens are holding all of the cards. They still can get, I think with the sign and trade, though, it's not a match offer that it wouldn't be, the first round picks as compensation per se, but man, I'm watching the stupid Astros, and Alvarez opening day just hit one to the moon in the ninth. Anyways, it just basically is another thing in the Ravens' favor. And at this point, I'm wondering, after the Hamlins and Deshaun Watson, even if he did have an agent, how would Lamar Jackson and his theoretical agent approach things differently? Because it feels like he was screwed from day one, and we know he's screwed now.
Well, I will just hypothesize that if he had an agent, you could at least flirt out, hey, this team has interest, this team has interest. Without an agent, they're just saying, oh, we can talk to each other. And like, are you offering this? You offering that? No, absolutely. Like, there is no way without an agent, Lamar Jackson is getting what he wants. There's no way.
Team is going to reach out, to him and say, hey, we love you, like agents. I imagine he talked to all the teams, right? Like an agent would.
Yeah. And like, you have to, like, someone has to be game to sign someone before anyone else is interesting. I'm worried about, and Brandon, I'm going to bring you in on this one. Brandon, are you worried like I am that Lamar may negotiate himself out of playing football?
That's a tough one. It's very possible, but again, this comes back to a business deal, and it's sad that he is not represented by an agent. So the Ravens took that not franchise, but transitional tag, if you will, and it saved him about $13 million.
Yeah.
All right. So now they get a chance to match any offer, but they also don't have to pay that extra $13 million just to tag him. That's where an agent would come in and really help that situation via other offers of other teams and really stew that up. This is an unfortunate, like, they're kind of smarter than him at this point with the legality of it. And it sucks for Lamar. In my opinion, I really think if he had an agent, I think a deal could have got done with the Ravens. But, you go back, he requested a trade on March 2nd, which is, over a month, almost a month now. So there's some stuff going on behind the scenes that.
But is anybody biting on that trade? That I don't know.
But that's the thing. Nobody is. So he has played.
If your base
out of his last 3 seasons, he's played 12 games.
Yeah.
Each season. Like,
if your base point is, I need guaranteed $200 million. Well, no one's going to trade for you. No one's going to give up 2 draft picks and you leave in a year because no one's going to pay that money because there's only one Haslam in the league and they've already paid that quarterback.
Right. And I think that's a unfortunate, casualty of this deal in the NFL that, okay, so everyone saw that deal with Deshaun Watson. Players for sure, they're like, all right, we want, the bar's been set now. We're moving up to guaranteed money. But the owners are like, no. And I think the buck kind of stops here with that.
All right. So, okay, Tom, I'm bringing you on here, putting you on the spot. Did Patrick Mahomes sell out NFL quarterbacks, NFL players when he signed his deal? And what I mean by that is he signed nearly a $500 million deal, but it wasn't fully guaranteed. And it was lightly guaranteed. Did he sell out the NFL quarterbacks when he didn't go fully guaranteed?
That's a tough question, really, because up until the last few years there wasn't any guaranteed money. But I just think he knew what his worth was and what he can contribute to the Chiefs. So the likelihood of him living out that contract being his age, it's probably pretty good. Did it restructure the bar? Maybe. But I don't think it sold anybody out. That's a good question, and of course, it would come from an attorney. You're like engineers, the in-depth question. But no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
The flip side of it is, I'm betting on myself, and I need weapons around me, and so I've got enough money. I can stay safe, and I can these because what Mahomes signed was essentially a $500 million contract, $63 million guarantee, but each year it almost doubled in guaranteed money, and so he was saying, "Hey, get me the people around me. I can make it, and and then, I mean." He's only gonna be like probably 33 when that $500 million contract. He's gonna get another. He's gonna be $1 billion athlete when
Yeah,
all
and
said and done.
that's
But the question is, did he sell other quarterbacks short because he knows what he can do versus what they can do?
I guess if you're looking at a quarterback that's going into their second or third contract, maybe. But again, I think it goes back to when he signed that contract and looking at his ability and who his coach is and the long-term effects that he'll have on that team. So I think
I read something. It was, Richard Sherman, I think. Richard Sherman, I think it was. He said, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes sold out the players by not taking guaranteed money. And Richard Sherman's he's got his opinions. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has 2 Super Bowls, and you have all your off the field sponsors. I think if you're great at your sport, the money's going to come. I think it's almost any profession. If you're good at it,
he's got
money will
ownership with the
come.
Royals. So
I don't know if you. The question is, do you owe a obligation to your fellow competitors or colleagues to do what's best for you? I don't know, or do what's best for them. I guess not what's best for you.
what do you think about that, Brandon?
Absolutely not. Look at this from a business standpoint. All right. You own a business, Robbie.
Yeah.
Would you ever guarantee, if you hired a new lawyer on your firm, would you ever guarantee them, $2 million for a year or whatever it is?
No, you got to eat what you kill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So there's incentives out there, right? So, all right, we'll put you on a
rich
really
as you want. You can get as rich as you want, but you have
exactly.
to work for it.
You have to work for it, and I think that's where Mahomes and Josh Allen, yeah, they got paid really well, but they have incentives to make even more if they produce, and that's how it should be in any business. Like you can't just go out and write a check and say, I'm going to project you to be, NFL Hall of Famer. You're going to throw 40 touchdowns a year, and all that. That it's complete BS. Haslam screwed it up. They messed up the whole kilter of the NFL salary and quarterbacks.
Yeah, and this is and I agree with you. And this is where I think it's unfair. If you're Patrick Mahomes, and like you want me to take the most money possible, but you also want me to win the most Super Bowls possible. Well, we're in a salary cap league. If I want to win the most, I may have to take less money to get more talent around me.
Yeah, and he's got options to restructure that, and later on, he's going to get paid.
I can't worry about what the Ravens are going to pay Lamar Jackson. I gotta focus on what I can do to win this league.
Yeah, and that's what really shows you who you want on your team and who you don't.
Yeah, I agree 100%. All right, so when we're talking about bad teams, there's no better way to segment to the Commanders. They have a bad stadium, a troubled past. The ownership's a disaster. No good quarterback, no good team, but yet they are looking like they're going to sell for $6 billion. Raj, you are from LA. LA teams sell on the regular for multi-billion dollars. What do you think about the price tag for the Commanders? And also, what do you think about Magic Johnson being in this group?
I mean, Magic started his own movie theater company, and he started it in the hood and worked his way anywhere. I'm obviously a minority and very liberal, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Like Magic being a part of it doesn't really mean much to me. I think he sees opportunity because he's a brilliant businessman at that point, or at this point rather. You know, it's a terrible stadium. FedEx Field is very old. It has so many opportunities, and I think that's the valuation is what people see and why it's so high. In the sense that this is the DMV. In Maryland and Virginia, you have definitely lower property taxes.
Well, hold on, let me stop you there. I assume, and I haven't seen the contracts on it, I assume that they're just buying the team and that either Maryland, Virginia, or the DC district is going to build them a new stadium. They're not going to keep playing at that hellhole.
No, that's what I'm saying, is that it's a very enticing offer, right? Like it's extremely appetizing that there are so many possibilities in two states, especially a southern colony, Virginia, with lower property taxes than Maryland and DC, as far as I know, where you can build, and that's the trend, right? You don't want to build a stadium this day and age. You want to move to the suburbs and build a colony, like no pun intended, but like, in Atlanta and the Battery and, a family fun entertainment complex. And you can do that in 3 different regions or areas. The DMV, I mean, the versatility there is just off the charts. And it's the only team really that, that has roots in the area, Ravens aside, but like deep roots. And when you look at franchise valuations and you look at the Cowboys and the New York Knicks and the Lakers, and, you have to say the Washington football franchise is, probably a top 10, mama, don't let your babies grow up to be Redskins. And that was a football reference, not a racial reference.
Well, the fact that they're selling for $6 billion.
And that's alleged, right? And if that's the case, it's kind of like, it's not as bad as Haslam and Deshaun Watson, even though the DC team has kind of been in name purgatory. Wow, that was a bad analogy. Yeah, it's a lot, but everybody that sells their team for $3 billion, whatever, they make money. And
it's going to be for $6 billion, and a stadium has to be built. So that's,
which, like I said, is going to be more because you have opportunities in far more quote regions than another place where the Bears moved to the suburbs, built a stadium, a complex like the Battery in Atlanta. This area, I mean, you have your pick of the litter for so many different things, and it's very enterprising, is my point. So yeah, I think, I don't know who the favorite will be, but I'd jump on it if I had the money.
Yeah, if I had $6 billion, I would too.
Well, it's not going to be one guy, right? But it'll be part of it.
Tom, what do you think about this? The purchase? Who do you think it goes to, and why?
Well, I think as a namesake, anytime you have Magic connected to it, I think that's going to give you the edge over anyone. And what did I hear? He's partnered up with a Canadian billionaire possibly to buy that team. I just think it makes sense for Magic because looking at like the grand scope here, Snyder, the owner, is an absolute abomination. He's probably the least liked owner in the NFL.
Yeah,
he's brought a lot of negative press to the football team, the Commanders. So I think for having somebody like Magic's, namesake, and everyone loves Magic, East Lansing's own. I know Raj lays claim being out there in LA, but he started down the road from here. But anyways, having him attached to a franchise is huge. Look at what it did for the Dodgers. I mean, it opened up so many opportunities. They started spending money hand over fist. So I think Magic ultimately is going to, the team with Magic is going to get it because it's his name affiliated.
I agree with that. I think that that there's gonna be a lot of, like, there's Bezos, there's different groups, but I think the NFL wants Magic in this group. I think that's gonna put it over the top.
Yep.
Brandon, what do you think?
Speaking of Bezos, I like Bezos on this one. I know he's far-fetched. He's got the money solely by himself. He could, I mean, this is 15% of his net worth, if that. He could buy it outright. He's already paid $1 billion for the Thursday night fiasco we've seen. He's all in. He's wanting some NFL action. But no experience there, no experience being an owner. That's going to be a slight nod on him.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him have it at this, just to see what he could do from an outsider's perspective. If he could step away and just really, because it's just like any other business, and if you can run a business properly, you hire the right people to fulfill the positions and acquire what you need. So
Bezos has a couple problems. One, they have the Thursday night package, so that would be a conflict. And also, Bezos owns the Washington Post, who has been one of the investigative journalists into the Snyder affair, and Snyder has said he will go to the grave before he sells it to Bezos. So,
no, I know. I'm just.
I know. I'm not saying
reckless
Bezos won't be.
speculation
I'm not saying Bezos won't be an owner eventually.
Well,
he just won't be the Commander's owner.
And I agree. And I'm just, recklessly speculating. And what's Josh Harris has been another big name kind of up there.
He's part of the Magic Group, I think.
Yeah, he's part of the Magic Group. He owns he's got part in the Philly or 76ers and the New Jersey Devils, I believe, as well. So that's probably the front runner, I would say. But man, it would be fun if Bezos got his hands on an NFL team and just to see where he could take it.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I don't understand what Zuckerberg and the Google guys and Bezos doing. Why not own professional sports teams? Like, it seems so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's dropping the bucket for these guys.
But nonetheless, all right. So we've got about 17 minutes left in tonight's show. We have to, even though we spend half of our show or half of our time on air bashing the MLB, rules have changed. It looks more exciting. And here we go. Look at that logo. I saw a bit of the Braves game today. It does look more exciting, and it's the first time I've been excited about baseball thus far in probably 10 years or so. Tom, you're a Tigers fan. What do you think about the rule changes? Are you excited? How does it make you feel?
I'm happy for the shift being gone, although it seemed like some teams were finding a way to circumvent it. They were playing specifically in the Tigers Tampa game. Their second baseman literally played right up to the line that they were allowed to go. So teams will figure out that, but I guess it's going to be good for the game. I suppose it's going to speed things up. I'm not too sure if I like the pitch clock. I don't know. I know it said the spring training games on average were 26 minutes short. I'm a baseball guy. The time limit never bothered me, but if this is going to help bring more eyeballs to stadiums and to, watching on Fox or whatever, I'm all for it. But it's interesting to see the chess match between pitcher and batter trying to figure out these new rules. So I'm still trying to figure it out as far as like the batter. You can only call time once. So it's going to be interesting to see how many batters go to call timeout and get burned on it, because it's an automatic strike. So ultimately, it's going to be good for the game, because the big knock on baseball has always been it's too long. Nobody wants to sit for 3 hours and watch a game. So if this brings more people, then I'm all for it. But
Well, and so I'm curious about that. It's like I've never been at a game and been bored. It's more watching on TV. So like people are like, "Oh, I got to get home." I'm like, "Well, if I'm at a game, I'm fine with it lasting a long time. But at home, I want it to move fast." But I live in a minor league city, and we've had the pitch clock for 3 or 4 years now. So I've just gotten used to it, and it's how baseball's played, and I love it. Matt Scherzer made a good point, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, but something like golf, right? So it's like pace of play. So if your pace of play is fine, let you play. But if you slow down, turn the clock on. And I thought that was interesting. Is if let's say if you're pitching fast enough and the batters, if there's no delay in game, let them kind of do what they want. But if it slows down, turn the clock on, and that's interesting to me.
yeah, I mean, if you look at the way certain pitchers pitch, I think Max is the type of guy that, his experience being here in Detroit, he's get the ball and he's ready to pitch. He's always, I think these rule changes don't really affect him.
Yeah.
But you look at some other pitchers who part of their game, part of that chess matchup is, I'm going to stare you down. I'm going to take as much time, 45 seconds in between pitches. That's all part of the brainchild that they're playing.
Oh,
with.
well,
So,
I remember Randy Johnson. He just stood up there and looked at you and like, I'm about to sling this thing right past you.
But it's a stare down, and like Craig Kimbrell, who played for the Braves there.
All right, you and Raj pop on here for a second.
We call that the hot girl in the club, dude. You're not going to get her unless you stare her down. But no, what was interesting is, in my opinion, the pitch clock was designed to make the boring less boring. And I looked at games where baseball enthusiasts and people that love the game and the strategy and every pitch that counts in the playoffs. Tom, as a Detroit Tigers fan, the playoffs are this thing that happens after 162 games when like other teams
2006
play each other.
2013 were
hey, just like the Sacramento Kings. They made it, so maybe you guys will. Although I played a game with a buddy of mine. The Reds and Tigers were named 3 of them, and nobody could. But anyways, those are the beautiful games to the baseball purist. But just like the NFL, you need to bring in the fan. And I look today, and some of the more boring games by scoreboard, YouTube, TikTok, electronic fascination standards. The Cubs 4-0 over Milwaukee, 2 hours and 21 minutes. That's easily a 3-hour plus game because you have a lot of those stare downs and things that we were talking about. A lot of those mind games. 5-0 Yankees over San Francisco, 2 hours and 33 minutes.
Yeah, that was a quick one.
Twins in Kansas City. I mean, I wouldn't watch that if you paid me with the time or pitch clock or not. 2 hours and 32 minutes. Tampa Bay 4, Detroit, nothing. So far, the shortest game, 2 hours and 14 minutes. People can put up with that. I mean, kids love baseball. It's all over. I just came from my kids' baseball games while I was late. And even when you're in a minor league city like we are here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, it doesn't translate, right? Like kids don't have 3 hours to spend, and now they do.
Don't have 3 hours.
Exactly, and in games they've played through Little League and middle school, high school, college, they all have pitch clocks. Minor league, nobody takes what they do in the MLB. So my overarching point being is it's much more relatable, and I think this will be a great thing for baseball. It's also why you're seeing this insane spending. Robbie will love this. Diamond Sports Group, who owns Bally, wouldn't have anything to do with the Padres previously. They just paid their franchise fee to broadcast their games for this year because they spent so much money on, power players, on highlight dudes. So now you have outside investors, and even those that don't really have to do so, those with leverage are essentially saying that, hey, man, this is a good investment. That baseball is a good investment. And I feel like these new rules, although I'm a purist, are a good investment for the game. My kid would stay up till 2 a.m. if I let him on playoff nights, Friday, Saturday, when he was like 6 years old, and he would try to battle.
Yeah.
Only on the weekend, parents. But like, it just unreasonable, man. These games would go 4 hours.
Hey, he would also have some Capri Suns infused with vodka if you'd let him. But
his tolerance would be better than yours, that's for sure.
And he's going to hit you with some nut dust too.
Yeah.
If you're not looking.
My thing is right now with baseball is you got to get off this Bally's network. Like it's just a disaster.
They just took over for Fox Sports, right? It was like FS1 and FS2.
Well,
we can't watch the Braves games here.
Well, Bally's is owned by Diamond Sports Group, DSG. So they just use the Bally's name. Don't ask me why. My friends joke in LA that I watch more games, home games in Dodger Stadium here than I did there. They can't get all the games because of people fighting.
Yeah, I turned on MLB Network today, and that's where the Braves supposed to be, unavailable on our network.
That's a local blackout thing, but even when they're on the road, my boys would be like.
Luckily, I was able to Tremont at 1:00 today and watch the game there.
What a surprise!
I understand your point, though. MLB does not make it friendly, and in that sense, I hope that will change because they'll make more money with a bigger audience with these rule changes. But before, they were just hemorrhaging, and you can't save your way to profitability, and they were doing that.
All right, we'll do. So we got 8 minutes left. Brandon, you coming on back on? There we are.
Yeah.
We got 4 of us. All right.
Reluctantly.
All right, so let's give a quick rundown. NL predictions in the East.
Boy.
Raj, who you got in the East?
Dude, for once, I'm going to be simple because baseball is like an 8-month process. In the end, like NL, AL, wherever it is, go with management. And in the East, that means the Braves. You go with pitching, defense, and management. So no matter what the Mets spend, Verlander's already on the IL.
All right, Tom, who you got in the East?
Oh, yeah. I thought I was going straight through. My bad.
Nope, I agree. Atlanta, too many injuries in New York already, and Atlanta's healthy right now, and they're going to get a big lead early. So give me the Braves.
Brandon?
Yeah, easy Braves here.
All right, Braves make it unanimous. Central, Raj?
I'll go begrudgingly with St. Louis.
Tom?
It's going to be another showdown between St. Louis and Milwaukee.
Brandon's looking who's in the Central.
Yeah, I don't think the Cubs have enough. Clearly, the Pittsburgh is not a Cincinnati. No, give me St. Louis by a hair.
All right, St. Louis. Brandon, who you got?
I'll take the Cubs. Let's go Cubbies.
All right, I got the Brewers in the Central.
Brew.
All right, we got the NL West. Raj, Dodgers. All right, Tom, who you got? All right,
Dodgers.
Brandon.
LA Dodgers.
Give me the Padres. All right, AL. We're going to AL East. Brandon, who you got? That's the Red Sox Yankees division.
I know.
Or the Devil Rays.
I'm gonna have to take Yankees. I don't want to be chalk, but I'll
Tom, who you
take
got?
Yankees.
Pitching dominates. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays.
Raj?
I think Toronto, this is the year they finally take over.
Yeah.
I'll take Yankees. Central, we'll go Raj. We'll go Tom first. That's it.
Give me the Guardians. They have a lot of momentum. Coming off last year.
That name's worse. That may be worse than the Commanders. All right, no. Brandon, who you got?
I'm gonna have to agree here on the Guardians. I'm not a fan of the name, but I do like them.
Guardians are.
I do.
All right, Raj, who you got?
Tough one to call, bro. Very close teams in Chicago, Minnesota, and Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland can do it again. I really don't. Bullpen wise, starter. I think Dylan Cease is the Cy Young. I'm gonna go with Chicago.
Yeah, I'll go
if
White
he
Sox.
Stays healthy.
I go White Sox as well. All right, West, we got the Anaheim or the California. Where the freak
Yeah,
they're called?
trust me.
Los
No, they're the
Angeles.
LA Angels.
Yeah,
Anaheim.
whatever the Angels are called. The best 2 players in baseball, the worst team in baseball. Raj, who you got?
Dude, they're going to get second. They're going to make the playoffs. But sadly, the Cheaters will win the division, but the Angels will make the playoffs. My prediction.
Tom.
I'm going out of the box here. Give me the Mariners. I love what they did going into the playoffs last year. I like their momentum. Give me Seattle.
Brandon.
Is this Astros? Astros in this division?
Yeah.
I like them. I'm going to
Unfortunately.
take Astros.
I like
Opening day,
Astros.
Rob.
Hey.
I got first pitch coming, bro. I got to bounce.
Bang on some trash cans. Let's go.
It's a holiday in LA, man. 55,000
Astros
every
too.
night.
All right, so we got 4 minutes left.
I do.
Bet
We
your
got
nuts.
Bet your nuts.
Oh.
It's time for Bet Your Nuts.
All right, this is the time where you people get rich. Listen to us, and you will not be disappointed. We'll start with Tom Sloan up in the top. Who you got?
Well, I'm going to go back to the NASCAR circuit, going to Richmond this week. The last 10 races, who has more wins than anybody else? That's Martin Truex Jr. And he's a plus 1,000. Give me Marty Truex Jr. to come through with the checkered flag.
I like that. Truex Jr. All right. Raj, who you got?
Both Final Four underdogs. My FAU and Miami to cover.
All right.
Nice.
Is that a parlay or is that individual?
Parlay.
Parlay.
I'm
All
going
right.
money line with FAU.
Brandon, what do you got?
I'm going to bring it to the Masters next week. And
We're going to have a show before then.
I know.
Doesn't matter. You're in the
It
South.
doesn't
Are you going to
matter.
double down on your bet next week?
Yeah. Well, here's one. I'll give you one. I've got 4 that I really like, but I'll give you one of them.
Only one wins.
I know that. But
got you there, dude.
I have top 10 finishes coming next week. So just stay tuned. This week, just an all-out who you think can win it. Let's not forget about some of these live guys. And in Cam Smith, when he left the PGA, on top of his game, one of the best golfers in the game, hasn't done anything in the PGA or in the Live Tour hardly at all. But he is at plus 1,400. Cam Smith to win the Masters. I love it.
How come live guys can play in the Masters? I didn't think they could.
Because
They're not PGA.
majors
They're
are not
separate.
sanctioned by the PGA. They're
Who are they
all
sanctioned by? The rich white
they're
guy, the wealthy.
Yeah,
corporation?
pretty much. I mean, just in a nutshell, yeah.
I honestly, I didn't know that. I mean, I
Yeah,
always
they
thought
can
if
play in
you
all the-
got
they
the
can
money
play in
from
all the
live, you wouldn't be able
majors.
to play in the majors.
All right, so my bet your nuts
I didn't know that.
is look, the best race car driver on circuit is bound to win. He's plus 65 to 1. Kyle Larson. He gets it done this week. He's due. Oh yes. Rock, you know, Kyle Larson again. Oh yeah. He hasn't won yet this year. This is his time.
Murphy's Law.
I don't think he's ever won since you picked him. You've picked him like 19 times. By the way.
All right, boys. Good show tonight. We're rounding into our last minute final thoughts. Final thought segment. Here we go. Raj, I will start with you. You have the floor.
Quick, today should be a holiday. All 30 teams are playing opening day in baseball. It was a great day, analogous to the first 2 days of the Sweet 16. Just don't forget in baseball when we call predictions and teams like Johnny come lately San Diego that there is a trade deadline. And teams like the Braves with great management, which is why I said management matters, in 2021 or whatever it was, they were 500 at the deadline. They got Rosario, Duvall, Soler, and Jock Peterson, and they won the World Series. So let's not throw all of our eggs into one or two baskets like San Diego and get on the hype train, because it's a long year and the Dodgers just gave up one run in the first with Urias starting. But it's over. We're going to lose it all.
Brandon, what about you?
Man, just looking forward to good weather, summertime here in Tennessee. Great sports. We got NFL, MLB, everything kicking off. It's going to be a great year.
Well said. Tom?
I guess to piggyback off of what Raj said, we're going to experience this next Thursday here in Detroit. It's a holiday, and specifically in the city of Detroit, even as bad as they are, and they might not have a win going into that opening home opener, there's downtown Detroit's still going to be packed. There'll be 150,000 people down there partying up like they just won the World Series, and they haven't done it since '84, but it's a fun time. And it's an opportunity to get fans together. Hopefully the weather will be nice. It's the dawn. Ernie Harwell used to have the voice of the turtle, it was called, and he would play it at the start of every season. And it was one thing that I always looked
Top 5 announcer of all time.
Oh yeah, no question about it. So it springs eternal.
Exactly, it springs eternal.
It's a sign of good things to come. Today was a historic day. We'll just leave it at that. And just looking forward to good weather and lots of baseball.
I'm going to go non-sports related, as I typically do. I'm leaving tomorrow morning to take depositions of police officers who have allegedly went too far on a suspect and beat the person too far.
Leaving? What do you mean?
I'm going. I got to Middle Tennessee to go take the deposition.
That's what I was wondering.
And so we've taken violence way too far in society, and we have to take a step back from the rhetoric and the hatred and the necessity to be so evil, and just look back and think about what it's like to be with each other and cohabitate, and just say, hey, like, excuse me, or hey, maybe I didn't mean to cut in front of you in line, or I didn't mean to cut you off in traffic. And not everything has to escalate, whether it's police, whether it's school shootings, whatever it is. Just everyone, please take a step back and calm down. This is not an anti-gun thing. This is not a anti-anything. This is just everyone just take a step back and calm down. Like, we have time to debate things, but just everyone in society, just take it easy and just look. Not everyone's out to get you. Not everyone's out to destroy what you think you have worked for. Just be nice to each other, and just look. Kids were killed in Nashville, and kids are killed every day all across America, and there's no answer for it. But let's just try to be compassionate and not use this political moment. I guess just everyone be nice to each other, and just take a second to think about what other people are thinking, and just everyone's having a bad day, and just talk to people, I guess. I don't know. But
can I quickly piggyback off that real quick? There's a new Netflix show, NYC Emergency, which is obviously not representative of medicine. But there was one scene in which one longtime NYPD guy needed a kidney. He was on dialysis, and it was given to him by his partner. But his partner wanted it to be anonymous. The reason why was he said that every day in our job, in everything we do in life, we encounter hostility. And he was a senior partner to the younger guy who needed a kidney. And he said, I wanted it to be anonymous so he could see the faith and the goodness in humanity. And to think that somebody I didn't know gave me that would essentially tend to him and everyone else to reach out, police or otherwise, with an open hand instead of a closed fist, regardless of the anger you face. And he said, unfortunately, it was exposed that somebody told the guy that it was his partner that gave him the kidney. But that's why he wanted to remain anonymous. It wasn't out of some sense of backward self-righteousness. He wanted it for basically the betterment of humanity and for his partner to see that
there's still good left in the world.
That people can be good.
Well, it should not have to hit home for people to care, but it did hit home last week, whatever. And I texted a good friend of mine. I said, "Hey, I hope, like, you've been quiet. Is your daughter okay?" And because I didn't know where his daughter went to school, and I was concerned, like, that shouldn't happen. Like, and I'm just a friend, not a parent, and like, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
People rationalize it was this girl who went here and has a reason to be because of her, gender affiliation now. And there's always going to be a rationalization, but it's always going to be after the fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And again, 1 in every 4 weapons manufactured today is an assault rifle, an AR-15. Which,
best-selling gun in America.
Again, all that were designed, the sole purpose was for mass killing.
Well, all right, boys. We ran 7 minutes long. We'll be back. Next week, we got Masters coverage. We have Final Four recap. And we have some baseball. And then
this week of baseball, we'll have a
Monday championship game.
Yeah.
College football. Yeah, good idea again.
Yeah. Screw the East Coast time, people. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and then we'll be back. And then Tom will promote us, and we've got some swag coming out. Got the hat here. Brandon's got one. Tom's got one. Raj can't figure out what time it is, so he'll get one later.
Can't afford it yet.
Thanks for watching.
Paid in 2 weeks.
For Reckless Speculation, we are out.
See you guys next week. Thanks for listening to another episode of Reckless Speculation. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, searching Reckless Speculation. Catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. We look forward to catching you right here next week with another exciting episode of Reckless Speculation. Cheers.